Good evening, everyone. We will quickly, start in next 5 minutes. Once we have a little more people, we have about 25 now. Okay, so we have quite a lot of participants now. So we'll begin with the webinar. I would like to, welcome everybody on behalf of the Academy for Digital Marketing Courses and this webinar on Instagram marketing for business growth. Uh, this reason for keeping this webinar is to, there is a need of people understanding why and job oriented courses are the core missions at the ADMC. To initiate your interest for digital marketing and to the world of digital, today we have with us for the webinar two very popular and renowned influencers from the industry to share their knowledge and expertise with you all. Pleasure to welcome Prerna Makharia and Paridhi Bhatia. Uh, let's not keep you all waiting. Over to our experts for the sessions.
Okay, great. Hi, guys. Eid Mubarak to everybody. I hope if you haven't eaten lovely food, you're going to eat after this webinar. So I'm going to start by introducing Prerna, and this is not an easy job because she sent me like a long list of things that she's done in her life, but I'm going to try. So Prerna is the first jewelry influencer of India, right? And she has 80K followers, and she's spent her time talking about diamonds and meeting with the Cartiers and talking about them and how diamonds come to life and why people should buy them, right? She started her career in 2002 and she has 18 years of experience on her, right? She's won a lot of awards. She founded Style Prayer, which is her blog, which you can even find on Instagram in 2015. And it became India's first jewelry blogger, right? A lot of us follow a lot of blogs about music and travel. Who thought jewelry, such a niche category, can also have content, right? So Prerna is all about that. In 2019, Prerna founded India's first bespoke custom-made jewelry brand for pets. Yes, pets also like jewelry. Pets also wear jewelry. If you haven't heard it, you're hearing it here first, right? You can follow her on Instagram. You can follow her on Facebook. It's called Style Prayer. But she's here to tell you why Instagram is different, how your brand, if it is on Instagram, can drive business. She knows everything, right? So whatever questions you have, today is your time. In the next 2 hours, you better shoot it out, and she will be able to answer all of your questions, right? So yeah.
Thanks, Paridhi, for that amazing introduction. So, as much as what Paridhi has spoken about me, I think she has a lot more that she's achieved in her career as well. And I'm going to introduce Paridhi formally to you guys. She's Paridhi Bhatia. And Paridhi, people love to stick to the comfort of old rather than embrace the new. However, Paridhi's career, which spans a decade, demonstrates her relentless pursuit of new, which today she sees at her center of transformational journey at Ogilvy. How often do you see a woman actually hailing from a small town and who has dabbled between so many things? So I'm just going to tell you a little more about her. Quality controller at a perfume bottling plant. Yes, this was her first internship. Event manager, where she started her career managing events while studying also. She's become a digital marketer, moved on to editing a food blog, names Slurry, right? Am I correct?
Yeah, Slurpee. Slurpee was my first food blog that I used to write for.
Slurpee. Okay. And she fell in love with the digital medium back then. After that, she's become a content creator for a music news feature. That's so amazing. And that's where her passion lies. So she's also the lead for Ogilvy's content cell, where she loves creating content, and that is what she wants to do for the next couple of years. So Paridhi basically hails from a small town, Aurangabad, and she trained in both Bharatnatyam and contemporary dance. So now you know where the love for music and dance comes from. Probably that is where she gets her ability to fuse the old and new to create magic. She believes progress always comes with our ability to change. She believes in spreading the gospel of change. She makes time to teach students across age groups on the current trends in digital marketing, content creation, and what brands are doing to engage with consumers in real time. The future, according to her, is hybrid, fluidic, and beyond imagination. And according to her, the only way to stay tuned is by staying ahead, which I completely agree. So while she drives Ogilvy's content during the day, she runs a blog for electronic music enthusiasts in the night. And that is so amazing and entertaining, Paridhi. I can't believe that you do so much in a day. Okay, moving forward, that also involves dance music fairs. She helps readers consume news in the musical realm in real life for all those who love music. So you can see no, sorry, some see her as a misfit, while some see her as a round peg in a square hole. And yet some see her as a fun loving, tea guzzling EDM enthusiast. But in reality, she's a flag bearer of change in advertising. Wow, Paridhi, that's so amazing. So,
You make me sound so awesome right now. I still have a long, long way to go.
uh, can you tell everybody what handle they should follow you on? I mean, on your personal, or where exactly should they follow you?
They can just follow Paradhi Bhatia to get news about either my blog or about everything I cook right now because I'm at home and I get time to cook. And as many sessions that I'll take in the coming days. So all of those updates you'll find at the rate Paradhi Bhatia on Instagram.
That's so
So
cool. So,
I'm gonna
Paridhi,
begin.
you want to continue? Yeah.
So I'm gonna stop my camera and share the deck so that there's no lag. Guys, if you do see a lag, just put it in the comment section so that we know that we have to slow down, and we will do that for you. So we're here to tell you and teach you about why Instagram is important. Everything that we have learned while mediums are changing on an everyday basis, it is very important to understand how they are changing and what you can use to leverage for your brands. Correct? Now, if you're avid social media users like us, you probably noticed that the most popular social mediums keep borrowing ideas from each other, right? Maybe 20 years down the line, we'll have a Facegram tube chat, all of it together. But Facebook and Instagram have something unique that they offer, which is the stories section, right? Which actually Snapchat began in 2013. But what Snapchat does now great is the memories section of it, and Instagram has actually taken over the story section. And no matter what you do in this lockdown at home, whether you're having a cup of coffee, whether you're sitting in your balcony, whether there's a bird sitting, everybody's sharing stories, and that's become one of the go-tos for engagement. Instagram is consistently staying ahead of the curve, right? And especially for businesses, right? 76% businesses today are present on social media platforms only to meet their business objective, and Instagram is leading that charge. Now, if you don't know, there are about 500 people who are using Instagram actively on a daily basis, right? But it's not only for brands, there are people too. Now, I'm a strong believer that people are brands and brands are people. Anything you put out there is content, right? So there is learning in everything that you do. Now, there are a lot of micro influencers and there are a lot of macro influencers. What Instagram did some time ago is took a collective of 2,500 influencers, right? And they did a survey of which is the most effective platform for engagement. And Instagram ranked number one with 59% engagement, while Facebook only received 18% engagement to the content that they were putting out there. So engagement rate you have to consider as top priority no matter which platform you are on to put content. Either you're doing it for brands, either you're doing it for a person, either you're doing it for an influencer. It could be anything. Now, you can reach out to a relevant audience no matter what platform you are on, but you have to decide basis which one gives you higher engagement, which one gives you highest reach. So, basis this survey, it's very clear that Instagram gives you, the highest engagement rate, which is more than Facebook. And while everybody thinks that Facebook is the number one door these days, Instagram is currently ranking higher. That also comes with the ease of the platform. That also comes with the ability to create quick content on it, given its features, which we will deep dive into a little further. Now, Twitter used to be a greatly engaging platform, right? People used to go for the purpose of telling brands how they feel. People used to go there for the purpose of just raging their problems. So, be it politicians or be it news broadcasters used to be there. But that trend is currently changing, and everybody wants to be present on Instagram, right? And with the live feature that Instagram has, it within minutes it becomes news, and they're present on the platform, and then it spreads like wildfire. So Instagram as a medium is growing and evolving every day, and yes, it is the most effective for growing engagement. So if you're working on a social media strategy, everything that we tell you now as we go forward are points to consider, right? Prerna, you want to take over?
Yes. So, thanks, Paridhi. Guys, you heard Paridhi mention what Instagram is, but let's firstly understand how did this feature come about and where did Instagram, who actually invented Instagram, who formed it. So, Instagram is an American photo and video sharing social networking service, which is now owned by Facebook. So initially, it was created by Kevin Systrom and Mike Traeger. So if you probably go on to, if you see um, the left side of the screen, that is what the Instagram page looks like. And if most of you have seen probably on the iOS version or the Android version, you would see that how you can download Instagram, and after you create your account, which at the later stage we will also teach you how to create an account, you will know more about how to work around it. So basically, Facebook bought Instagram for $1 million in April 2012 when it had about 30 million users at that point in time. And it is an application that brings you closer to the people and things you have, things that you love. So at this moment, Instagram itself has 350 million followers. If you can see their page, if you go onto Instagram from your mobile, you will see that the main page itself has those many followers. Um, so, Paridhi, let's go on to the next slide. Okay. So, guys, how does Instagram work? Like we've heard so much about Instagram. Basically, in this digital era, a brand's aesthetic is much more than your logo and advertising imagery. Initially, it was all about the brand logo. Like I would say, just as an example, go back to the first one itself. Yeah, just as an example, and Amul as a brand, a name, the girl was enough for brand recognition. But things have evolved from there now. So, social media has become now the new generation of word of mouth. So, if you probably see here, I have shown three differences where the first image is of an e-commerce jewelry brand called Carrot Lane. The second is of a Bollywood actress, Deepika Padukone. And the third one is of a social media and digital influencer, Shirin. So Carrot Lane, now what are the how does it work for individually all of these three people, because they all are from different genres and different walks of life. So Carrot Lane basically was founded in 2008, and the objective was to make beautiful jewelry accessible, affordable, and forever wearable. They initially launched the e-commerce platform. Um, Once again, guys, can you see the screen? Okay. Uh, yep. So, Carrot Lane as was an is an e-commerce platform, but eventually they realized that they needed to have a brick and mortar system. So they launched themselves as an augmented reality platform where they could show jewelry just by an iPad screen. Eventually landed into a brick and mortar store, and then after that also, when Instagram and Facebook was there, they evolved themselves into selling jewelry from Instagram and Facebook and building a community there itself. So when we talk about building communities, Paradhi is going to at a later stage explain how you can start building communities. So the objective basically of Carrot Lane uh, is is of having a social media presence which was to relate to today's youth and tap into the consumer market where jewelry can be sold easily in 2-tier and 3-tier cities or probably even smaller towns. Now let's move on to the Bollywood actress Deepika Padukone. Like, she's a brand in herself. Paradhi, the same one, the earlier one. Yeah. Deepika is a brand in herself. I mean, she really doesn't need to be on Instagram because she's already known in India or probably globally. Why did she choose to be on Instagram? Here now the thing is, um, yeah. So basically, she already is a celebrity and a brand in herself. Social media apps like Instagram have become one of the most powerful mediums to run marketing campaigns and just spread like wildfire, fire, and can influence a large number of people. So a brand like Google or probably even social media has become to the go-to medium where reaching out to target audience for better results at the same point with a lesser amount of cost. So the whole point of her being on Instagram was to connect to the Generation Z, which is basically the youth that is there right now, and get for people to know what happens in her day to day life. Because that's where we wouldn't know otherwise what's going on in their life. And if you see their Instagram, it's all about what's going on in their personal lives or even the brands that they are endorsing. So if you've been following some of the actresses, you would also see that Kareena Kapoor Khan recently got onto Instagram, and there was within almost an hour and a day, she had millions of followers on the page itself with it, as soon as she announced that she was on Instagram. Now let's come to Shirin. So Shirin is a digital fashion and lifestyle influencer, and she founded a handle in 2013. Initially, she actually started the whole thing just as a hobby, but grew it to a level where she has approximately 285,000 followers, and she has her own style, which we will probably at a later stage make you understand better. Let's get on to the next slide. Yeah. So here we're going to get onto a little statistics about what Instagram and social media is all about. Brands are replacing traditional methods of marketing, investing more money in social media marketing. For example, now the whole strategy of hoardings, magazines, articles, BTL activities, posters, it has reduced much more since the time social media has stepped up big time in the game. So if you see the first slide, where the first caption over here, about 3.5 million social media users, which equates to about 45% of the population. It's without a doubt one of the most popular online activities that users engage in. So this is basically, these are the daily active social media users. We're not talking about Instagram here, but we're talking in general about social media. So, social media statistics from 2019 show that there are 3.5 billion social media users worldwide, and this number is only growing. This equates to about 45% of the population. The next one is, one second. Yeah. On an average, so do you even realize that how much time do you guys land up spending every day on any form of social media, or maybe Instagram or any platform? Here on in a survey, it is said that people generally spend about 3 hours. But if you would know that since the lockdown has happened, it's been almost 240 minutes, which is approximately 4 hours. So there's been a sudden jump in the use of social media since the lockdown. The other one is social media users by generation. So if you see the numbers here, just one second. Yeah. So 90.4%. One second. Paradhi, is there a possibility of making the screen bigger?
The screen is full screen.
Okay. So, 1 second. So I'm just gonna have to figure. Just give me a second, guys. I will just need to check my notes. Yeah. So, coming to 73% of marketers believe that their efforts through social media marketing have been somewhat effective or very effective for their businesses, whether it's influencer marketing, story ads. They're trying to sell everything through social media. Social media allows brands to access cost-effective marketing, interact with their audience, and build brand loyalty. But it's difficult to measure the exact social media impact, as every social media platform measures activities differently. Let's get on to the next slide. Yeah. So if you see, talking about influencers, for yeah, 49% of the consumers claim that they depend on influencers like us. So I specifically do jewelry and watches and stuff related to the gems and jewelry industry, but there are influencers who also do luxury, lifestyle, travel, food, etc. So a survey says that 49% of the consumers that depend on influencer recommendations on social media to inform their purchasing decision. This means that if consumers feel confident in the recommendation from an influencer, they'll be more likely to purchase the product. This social media statistics makes it evident how brands could piggyback on the power of influencers to reach out to their customers. So how do the customers actually react to this whole thing? So there was a survey done on that also, where it says that one second, where it says that the social media is growing in terms of its reach and impact. And this statistics is here to show that more buyers are joining the social media networks and looking for reviews and recommendations. That's why it's essential to have a prominent online presence on various social media platforms. So the key here is basically to find out which social media platform is your target market, and which one are you using most often, and how can you make the most out of it. And the last one over here, where it says the impact of positive customer experience. At this point, it's no surprise that social media marketing is essential for your business. One of the ways that your business could benefit from social media marketing is by providing the best possible customer service. The idea here is to manage. So, for example, a lot of people now, within the times of lockdown, it's been a great way for them to connect with their consumers. I mean, they've actually just reached out to them, asking them how they are, how do they feel that things will be after the lockdown, or doing customer surveys where they are gathering information to know how things will be, how will be the buying power be after the lockdown goes off. So this includes responding to comments, mentions, and messages. 71% of consumers who have had a positive experience with a brand on social media are likely to recommend the brand to their friends and family. Let's get on to the next one. Okay, so here we're talking about how Instagram works for different brands or different genres of people, in terms of how you can create content, or how a visual page can be very appealing for your brand, because that has to be really very important. And essentially it's said that a person's attention span is only about 3 seconds. So when you are scrolling up on any platform, be it Instagram, any form of social media, it takes you 3 seconds to grab your attention onto an image or a video. So the first one, if you see, which talks about Cartier, it's an iconic brand with almost 9.8 million followers. Cartier was founded in 1847, but and over here, if you scroll through their page and see, you will be able to see that they have their page is appealing in a way where they're specifically talking about collections and different kinds of craftsmanship, or be it their collections from the Panther collection, Tutti Frutti, or mysterious watches. So the whole essence is of Cartier as a brand, and their expertise in watches or jewelry, or whatever product and collections that they specialize in. Then, if you closely look uh, at their post, there is an average engagement of 100 plus comments on each of these posts, which is very, very important, which means that people are engaging on their page, and it's just that they are not stopping by browsing through the image and flipping it through. So why I'm telling you all this is because eventually when we create an account and we give you an assignment, it's going to be very easy for you to create any one post or few posts and go back. If you already have a page, go back to your page and look at what's going on. The next is where I have shown about my own page. So if you go on to Style Prayer, you'll be able to see that during my visit to the Doha Museum, which is recently during a show in Qatar, the objective of this entire campaign was to talk about the heritage of gems and jewelry spotted there. It was about the experience of the museum, and we, in fact, almost had a reach of almost 400,000 people while we curated this entire campaign. So the key here is for your brand to show the visual content that appeals to your audience and resonates with your personality. So basically here it all talks about how I pursue jewelry and how my experience was at the Doha Museum, and talking about my experience over there. The third one is of the fashion designer Abujani and Sandeep Khosla. So here, if you see, they have followers of almost 846 100,000, and they are one of the most known fashion designers of India. Their Insta page, if you scroll through that, initially it talks about one of their pet jewelry brands, which pet fashion brands called Gulabo. But eventually, when you scroll through it, they have various campaigns ranging right from their client diaries to celebrity campaigns, fashion shows, collections, and even all the online clothing that they've been selling. So, not to enforce customer purchasing at this point in time is one of their main points. So, if you see their page, you would see that they are creating content on basis of COVID and not actually just throwing in content which is talking about selling their product all the time. It specifically talks about there's a video where it talks about going back to the drawing board and introspecting and utilizing this time so that they can come back with a bang. It's not always about the product and selling a product, but creating an entire experience. Paridhi, let's move on to the next one. Yeah, actually the one after that first. Yeah. So what makes Instagram special? So Instagram actually divides its communities between, specifically now this I'm talking in jewelry, and it can be applied even for all other genres. It has B2B people which sell products from business to business, and there are people who sell from business to the consumers. So here, if you see the first example where you see of Rani Wala, which is one of it is a very popular jewelry brand from Jaipur. They cater jewelry which is to the industry and also to consumers. So the first campaign that is done over here, you would see with Winnie Harlow, where they have launched their Pret jewelry collection, which specifically talks about daily wear jewelry that is for customers directly, which means B2C people. And if you see the second screenshot, where I am doing a campaign for them, which was specifically related to the gems and jewelry industry at a trade show. So, where our objective was to connect and build business for people within the trade shows. And the objective of the first campaign, where you could see with Winnie Harlow, was to connect directly with the consumers. So here you can see it's not only jewelry, but even people with other genres of work can connect the same way and create a page visually on basis of what their target audience is. The third one talks about the campaign that I had done for Cartier. So, in fact, this entire campaign was around Francesca Cartier-Brittle um, writing the history of the entire journey of the Cartier brand, and all we had to do is create a campaign around a book. So it was quite challenging because it's usually we're talking about jewelry. So this entire campaign where we created, so we went all the way onto we went to the Asiatic Library, which is one of the most oldest spots in Mumbai, and did this entire campaign there, which actually which which got us a reach of more than 400,000 people. And the last one that you see is by Carrot Lane. So in fact, they have recently done this campaign where they turn to women who have always been empowering people around them with love and the whole. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah. An e-commerce jewelry store during the testing times created a campaign of adapting to the new normal. They turned to women who have always been empowering those around them with love and hope to bloom effortlessly. Women from different walks of life. Here, their strategy wasn't product driven, but it was to support women empowerment and adapting to the changing times. So let's get on to the next one.
Prerna? Okay, I think we're facing a technical glitch. But coming to the point of why Instagram is different or what sets Instagram apart, right? A, it's the content. B, it's the ability that it gives you to use larger visuals. So there are three profiles up here. One is Sachin Tendulkar. I started the presentation by saying people are brands and brands are people, right? There's learning everywhere. So be it an individual or be it a brand, there is always going to be learning for you to make content. And if you're going to consistently put content out there, your followers will increase, your engagement will increase as well. Now, there are a lot of people asking questions. All of your questions we will answer in the Q&A session at the end of the presentation. So don't worry, keep posting them. If there is something that you don't understand and you want us to come back to, we will. So coming back to what sets Instagram apart, it is the content, right? Now Sachin Tendulkar talks about his life, he talks about sports, he talks about what he's doing in the house. It's very relevant, and a lot of people love him for the purpose of being who he is, from where he's come, how he made his journey, right? 22.4 million is not less. But he's someone who kind of he's a charge bearer and you want to follow him, right? And you want to do as good as he is. He's basically an inspiration, someone you go to when your day is bad, you see what he's doing and he's just going to help you pick up everything that has happened in the day and do better. So that's the kind of content you go to Sachin for. Book My Show keeps it very interesting. Book My Show, when the lockdown started, they started online webinars and music shows that people can come and watch online. So that is all. Book My Show is also trying to keep itself relevant. I don't know how many people have actually logged into Book My Show or are following them, but if you do, you're going to enjoy it. And they're very great at the memes as well. There is a huge meme culture that goes on in India and abroad, and they are kind of trend tracking that very well. And then there are personal profiles like Masoom Meenawala, who's doing a very great job. She is a fashion blogger, so everything about fashion she talks about. So you see, content can be many kinds, right? It could be about somebody's life and journey. It could be about a brand and how they're keeping themselves relevant, like Book My Show is doing. It's about what my passion point is. So if I was Masumi Nawala, it is fashion, and hence I'm going to talk about fashion and inspire you to be more fashionable or inspire you to kind of change the fashion trends, etc. Now, what Instagram does best is come up with new features every time there is a change in your environment, right? Now, some features make it very easy to engage, right? You have the ability to comment, you have the ability to reply to specific comments, you have the ability to ask questions and take polls and stories. Who lets you do that? It's just amazing. It's like one click of a finger and you can change the world. Only if you could actually do that. I'm kidding. You can send direct messages to whoever you like. It has become very easy to connect with who you want to connect, right? My favorite trance artist, Armin van Buren, when I want to connect with him or say anything, all I have to do is drop a message or DM him on Instagram and I get what I want. So that's how easy Instagram kind of makes it to connect with people as well. Now, how is Instagram helping businesses with these features? So recently, if you've seen the features that they launched the small business feature where you could tag the small business and then they would put it up on one profile and you could see the small businesses across the globe and engage with them, right? That is the kind of quick feature that Instagram launched to keep ahead of the curve. What you can also do is use hashtags. Now, the hashtag game is the best game, right? You can use up to 30 hashtags in your post. Whoever you want to connect with, or if you want to rank in discovery on Instagram, you start using hashtags. It's amazing. It's not like playing PUBG and raising your adrenaline, but for those who really want to rank in search, just start playing with hashtags, right? The latest features, apart from small businesses, is also the shoppable posts and the product stickers within the stories, right? That you can use. And then you kind of start ranking again in discovery. People start finding your brand out and then talking to you directly. So You have a profile. How do you engage with that profile? You post content on your news feed. If you're posting content on your news feed and that's short format, then you can make long format content on IG stories. And trust me, people now have the patience to hear you for more than 5 minutes. Be it Jay Shetty, be it Sadhguru, people are listening to this content because people need inspiration in the times that we're living in. So don't stop saying what you want to say. Don't stop inspiring. Don't stop saying what you feel. The world is changing and the world is understanding what frankness is. The world is receptive to emotions. Now, apart from IGTV, you have your highlights section and your Instagram live section, right? Allows you to talk to people when you want to, allows you to keep your content there for people to come back and engage with. So these are the kind of features that Instagram kind of keeps going, making it available to you, and it kind of keeps it entertaining, and you want to keep coming back to that medium because there's always something new to engage with, whether you like it or not, right? So now you have your features. You use your features to get your brand out there. What else do you do? Now, once your brand is out there, then you have to build a community of loyalists, right? There is always going to be a time when your product just enters the market, then you're going to start selling your product, then you have to build a group of loyalists, then those loyalists start talking about your product or brand, right? Now, there are two ways in which you can create communities. There are people communities, and then there are hashtag communities. This hashtag is really going to take over our lives one day, right? Tell us how you feel about the use of hashtags in the comments. I see a lot of you commenting, so keep it going. Um, Now, when it comes to people communities, I have two of my favorite communities up here, right? I have my favorite DJ who's Marshmallow. And while he creates music, you should really go and see his content, right? He also cooks. So, despite putting a mask on his head, he's gone to the kitchen and made episodes where he's cooking food, which is done really great. So, cooking is something that people love. People are looking for recipes these days. That's how he's keeping himself relevant. So it may be a community about music, but it's also a community about Marshmallow inspiring you to do things at home, right? Now, this is a people's community. Then there is Jay Shetty, right? He's a coach who teaches you what the purpose of life is. He's somebody who's also come into the Forbes 30 under 30. He hasn't stopped talking. In fact, he uses Facebook Live almost every second day to inspire people around the globe, right? That's how he's building his community. So if you believe in love, if you believe in kindness, and if you believe in keeping going, then you're going to follow him, right? It's all about how you feel, and it's all about how other people resonate with you, and then you're going to start following these communities, right? So what helps you? What is the one thing that keeps people communities going, right? It's what you are what you believe in, what you're proud of, right? It could be one issue. It could be about you believing in watercolors changing your life, right? Then you're going to keep consistently putting content out there where you're kind of painting, and there are different ways of doing that. It's about Ayurveda and how you kind of introduce that to your life to make a better life, right? Then you're going to talk about Ayurveda and how you kind of introduce that in your life, and how simple methods at home can help you induce Ayurveda in your life. So that's people communities. The other way of building a community, or you when you want to feel part of a larger community, right? Entitlement is a huge thing these days. We all want to be liked. We all want more likes. We all want to be heard. How many likes do you have on your post right now, and how many likes do you want to get to? Drop, just tell us in the comments so we'll know what your aspirations are, right? Now I have two screenshots up here. One is for the music community and one is for the travel community, right? There are about 3 million likes on the left and posts, and there are about 4 million posts on the right. You're never going to stop, right? Hashtags is everything. You tag your post and you're going to come up in a discovery. And there are other people who are going to come and follow you who may not know you, but they share the same voice, right? So whether you follow a person or a hashtag, you're going to be connected to this entire community across the globe. It's not about just being in India, or it's not about just being in Africa. It's not about just being in Singapore. You're just going to start connecting with people who speak your language. And it's so powerful, right? So businesses and publications are building communities across the globe, right? They either do it with hashtags or they start a community of their own, which makes it easier for brands to connect with people. And one thing to remember is you speak your truth. You keep yourself relevant, right? Now there are more more than 1 million to 3 million images on any community with a hashtag, right? Now, if you want to start a challenge or if you want to start a change, all it takes for you to do is put a hashtag out there with an image and then get about 20 to 25 people, which is getting the power of influencers to start talking like you. And the minute there are more people that start talking about it consistently, say after an hour, then other people will start picking it up and other people will start posting it, right? So, whether again you're a brand, you're a person, or you just want to spread a message, you can do it. You can do it with just one hashtag and by getting people to use other hashtags. That is what sets Instagram apart because its discoverability is beautiful. Now, you are connecting with diverse audiences on every social media platform, correct? Now, as of if we go back to an era where, and I say era because things are changing in months right now, right? So in between 2018, right, Instagram had more than 1 billion users around the world. Now it was they've always been able to skew towards a younger audience, and if you see this graph, it's about 18 to 34, right? LinkedIn has not been able to do that. And while Facebook, you can target the younger audience, you will still find a younger base on Instagram because it's all about clicking pictures or it's all about clicking videos and it's about putting it out there. So this generation is notorious, right? And it's growing at a faster pace. How do you kind of make loyalists out of them? Every brand wants power, every brand wants a voice. What do? You start building relevant content for the people who are already on this platform between 18 to 34, and then you build loyalists out of them. You start speaking their language. If you look at how this is split between males and females, Instagram is truly special. And it is every advertiser's dream to reach out to an adverse or varied audience of people which it brings to you, while the female audience is just about the male audience, and we will get there, guys. Um, but you will find that both these audiences are almost equally present on Instagram. So, no matter the brand, you're going to have to be relevant to both. Now, when it comes to advertising on Instagram, advertising is what you say to people about a product or brand, right? It's usually talking about benefits or it's usually talking about the value that a brand or a person is bringing to you, right? Now, what I have up here are just four types of content. Now, when you're advertising, you're going to do it in a certain language, you're going to do it in a certain story format, correct? So maybe the biggest reason that Instagram is the best social medium is the opportunity for potential customers is to get to know their brand organically is higher, right? Because you're posting content every day. Now, a few years ago, Facebook refocused its efforts to connect with friends and family. Okay, Twitter's biggest accounts were politicians and singers and comedians and news organizations, like I spoke about a little earlier. But Instagram, they have such beautiful looking feeds for brands and the kind of content that you can put out there. People will follow it on a daily basis, right? It can make you chuckle. It can be relevant to today's scenario. It can be something that happened yesterday. It could just be an opinion that someone records and puts out there in their stories, which will spread like wildfire if it is relevant, if it resonates with the people around you. So it is not about just being present. It is about investing in high quality organic posts. And I say organic, why? Because you have to trend jack. You have to be present in the relevant hashtags. You have to speak the language that 10 other accounts might be speaking, right? And paid partnerships will happen, pro bono partnerships will happen, and of course you will do targeted ads, right? The four cultures that are recently taking up the kind of the jewelry you can make at home. And while people are sitting at home right now, there is still an urge of wanting to get ready and sit on Zoom calls, right? People are trend jacking that. Then there is a trend about quick foods. People have to cook, but people have to clean, but people have to feed their families as well. So 5 minute recipes, then videos about travel or when they traveled in the past or when the lockdown opens, where they want to travel. So inspiring videos like this Everybody is removing videos from their hard disks and are putting videos out there for everybody else to see for inspiration. And then there are comic strips, and comic strips are taking over the world right now because it's cute, it's also relevant, it is speaking people's language, and you feel every piece of content. Something here that I have is how to boil an egg, which a lot of people started asking after they were sitting at home. In fact, I had a friend who, when Canada went in lockdown, he put an egg in water and he put it in the microwave. And then he put the microwave on 100% power, and he kind of thought it would boil in 2 minutes, so he put it on 2 minutes, but it actually burst in the microwave, right? So it's just relevant content. You just feel like when you're reading it, this is you. um, that's what's important. So what you have to remember is, it'll not be one kind of content that you put on Instagram. It's not about clicking your selfie and putting out there, maybe as beautiful as it is, but you create content with influencers. There is UGC content, and there is a lot of UGC content. Every person is an influencer. If you have an opinion and if it is strong, you have to put it out there, right? Videos and images to engage with larger communities. You use your hashtags, you can build a community. There is absolutely no stopping you. There are texture and color plays as well. Then there are comic strips that are doing the rounds. And there are people looking out for varied and relevant content. My mother, at the end of the day, she's looking at her Instagram feed to see what other recipes are there, right? Maria Goretti has suddenly become famous with her food videos. That's because that is all she's doing in lockdown, and she's very quirky as well. Her opinions, her stories, her journeys are coming across in these videos, and people are kind of latching on to it. So that's how Instagram kind of sets itself apart. Um, so Prerna, do you want to?
Yeah. So, guys, we're going to now get into how to set up an Instagram account, basically, because a lot of people over here, most of them have an account, but there are also newbies who do not have an account, and they also want to set up and know the difference between a personal and a business account. So, essentially, what where do you find Instagram? So, Instagram has it's there on two platforms, on the iOS, which is for Apple and MacBook, and on an Android. So, which all the phones that have an Android version, this is how it will be looking on the right side, and on the left screen, this is how it'll look on your iOS. So in case if you go into the App Store, you can type Instagram and you will find it there. And if you go into the Play Store in an Android phone, you will be able to find Instagram and you can download it. So we're just going to take you through the process of how an Instagram account can be created, so that people who are not on Instagram can learn from this. Paridhi, let's go to the next one. Yeah. So once, how do you choose your profile name? So profile name, basically, you need to choose which is the most relevant to you. So in case if it's your personal name, you need to put in, for example, my personal handle is called Prerna Makharia Diaries, because I wanted to have the word diary along in it, but it has my full name. So it is very important that how you choose your personal name and your business page. So in case if you have a brand name, my business account is called Style Prayer. So if you see the left screen grab over here, you can see Style Prayer. So you have to choose a name which is the most relevant to you and which people can easily find. A lot of people land up having their name and a couple of numbers added to it, but people will not be able to easily find that unless you have a name which is easily available and can be accessible. So once you've downloaded the app, you can put in the username. Then the next step is to complete the sign up. So as we speak, I'm also creating another account, and so that it's easy for you guys to understand. You'll come onto a section where it talks about adding a photograph. So I'm just going to show you how it looks. I don't know over here if you guys can see it here. You'll have to add a photograph, which is basically if you see my photograph on the top left, where I have that crown on my face. So this is where your profile photograph will get added. In case if you don't want to add it right away, you can do that later. You also have an option to import it from your Facebook. So the photograph that you have on Facebook can be added here directly. Or you can choose one from your library. So if we choose one from the library, and then it'll go on to the next section. I'm giving a couple of seconds for people who are just creating an account. You all can add an image, and then so once you've added the image, then you can save that, and you can also save your login information. So Instagram gives you an option where you can save your password or your login information, and you don't have to keep adding it again and again. Then you come on to a section where you can find your friends from Facebook. So probably we'll go into that a little later. But right now, let's understand what are the main 7 features of Instagram. So one is basically your profile, where if you see what my page looks like, that is my Instagram profile. The second is the feed. So the feed is where you will be able to see a person's entire photographs and stories. So if you can, here, if you see where I'm standing and there are images over here and videos here, that is my news feed. The third section is the story. So where you see my display picture on the top left, that is where the stories will come. The messages is again a direct message where people can DM you or send any sort of inquiries or product information, or if they want to send you a personal message to reach out to you. Then the next is the feature of Instagram TV, which is what we also call IGTV. So where if you see this checkered box above where I'm standing, and the center tile. So if you see that little icon over there in the center, that is the icon for Instagram TV, IGTV. Where IGTV allows you to add videos from, I mean, initially it was up to 10 minutes, but now it has given an option to add videos up to an hour. The next we move on to highlights. So where if you see a plus sign, where it is written insights, and just below that you see those little round circles where I'm going to give you an example to understand, yeah, where you can see 21x Corona written YD and all these. So these are my highlights where I can save my stories and make each of my campaign easily accessible for people to see. And the last one is Instagram Live. So Instagram Live is an option where you can do live videos with people on Instagram, different profiles. And the live can be done for however long you want, but by default, Instagram disconnects the live after an hour. So you need to rejoin the live. So let's get a little into the details of how you can set up your profile and what makes an effective profile. So here we are onto the features of profile. Um, yeah. So let's get into what this page only, Paridhi, where we are going to show them how to create the bio. So once you come onto your profile, you need to create your bio. What you do is you will see an icon which says edit profile. So you go on to that, and the first thing that you will see on the top is your image, where you can add your image. So whatever image you want, ideally we would suggest that you have an image where at least your face is seen, or for people who have a business profile, either your brand logo is there, or any sort of image which resonates the best with you or your brand, in case if it's a business profile. The next section is where you see the name. So I have written in my business profile, I have put the name Prerna slash jewelry influencer. Now there is a reason why I have written my name over here like that. So there is a difference, one, between a name and a username. Username, if you see below, is Style Prayer, which is where I had created my account, and that is my handle. So in case if people ask you what is your handle, Style Prayer is going to be my handle and not my user and not my name. So Prerna slash jewelry influencer. Why I have mentioned jewelry influencer here is because these are the keywords what people look for. So in case if somebody is looking for a jewelry influencer, this is it's going to pop up on the top where they can easily look up for my profile. So in case if you are a food blogger, you can write food blogger. In case if you're a photographer, you can put your name and write a photographer. So it's very easy for people to look out for you. Then the next thing is putting up your website. It's very important that you guys put up your personal or work page, because this is where people will reach out to you if they want to see anything about your brand or about the personal work that you are doing. So, so we've spoken about images, names, usernames, website, and the bio. So, what is bio? Bio is basically that describes you the best of what you do. If it's your personal profile, it can be talking about what you do in your personal life. Say, for example, you're a homemaker and you want to talk about that. If you are a food blogger, you want to talk about that. But you need to add, in short, what is the most relevant and effective way of communicating to your audience about you in short. So if you see over here, I've made it very specific, where I've written jewelry influencer, India's first jewelry influencer. After that, I've put trendsetter, because if I am creating some sort of trends and I believe that I'm a trendsetter, I would like to mention this out over here. The next is, it talks about the kind of work I am doing. So I'm a jewelry connoisseur, I'm a jewelry stylist, and a field gemologist. So in short, in a few words, I have written very effectively of the kind of work I'm doing here. After that, I have mentioned my education. So if you see over here, my education is mentioned. After that, I have mentioned about all the images. So these images are basically clicked by me, unless they're I have mentioned it's by somebody else. So the whole importance of a bio is that in short, you mention everything about what you have been doing or you have achieved, or talking about yourself or your business. And then it is important that you also put an email ID here so that people can reach out to you. So either your personal email ID or your business email ID, in case if you want to mention about your business. Then the next thing you come on to is your page, where you see the public business information mentioned. So that is where this is the name that you want to showcase to people. So I have specifically chosen Style Prayer by Prerna Makharia. You can also mention stuff about your business, or you can mention about your personal name, or anyhow whatever you want it to be. Then I've selected a category. So in case if you go into categories, you will be able to look at options. Say it is a personal blog, it is a product or a service, it is art. For example, if Paradi's interest is in music, she can also select music and band. But so there is an option for jewelry and watches. I have selected that. So that's basically the genre of work that resonates the best with the kind of work that I'm going to be showing on the page. And then it talks about the profile display. If in case if you want to make it a private profile and you want to hide it from certain sort of people, you can always do that. Later on, if you scroll through further, it'll ask you about your email address. It'll ask you about the phone number. So in case if you Want to add your phone number, you can do that, but Instagram also gives you an option where you can hide your phone number from the settings, or you can also make it public in case if you are selling any sort of a product or any information where people can reach out to you. And then it talks, and the last one is gender. So you talk about, you mention the gender, even if you're male, female, or whatever gender you would like to add. The next, or the third screen grab is messages and direct DM, which we usually say in a shorter form. So if you go onto the top right of your Instagram from your main feed, say for example, if you, here is your home page. Let me just get it closer if guys can see it. Here is your home page. You will be able to see a home button over here. And if you go onto the top right, you will be able to see an arrow. This is the home button on the top bottom left. Paridhi, if you can just show them where the home button is. In the first screen on the bottom left. Yep, that's the home button. And over there on the top right later, you'll be able to see an arrow. And if you click onto the arrow, you will come onto a section, if you guys can see, where you'll be able to see messages from people. So if you see the third screenshot on the right, this is where...
Okay, so Prerna, I'm just gonna cut in here. There are a lot of people who are asking for answers. So I'm
Okay.
just gonna give them, otherwise they're kind of dropping away. Okay, so this is, we're just gonna break in and take a few questions to kind of get you the answers, right?
Yeah.
So how do I grow my Instagram page followers, right? Keep posting every day. Everybody wants followers. You're going to have to follow a consistent game. You're going to have to keep playing with everyday formats, play with statics, play with videos. Make sure you're putting at least 2 pieces of content out there. Make sure you're talking about latest trends. Make sure you are also playing with stickers. Make sure you're putting your opinions out there. Put your face out there. You put a face to anything, people will love you and keep following you, right? These are a few ways in which you can grow your followers. But if you tell us what problems you're facing, then we can probably deep dive into it. Someone asked me for my survey numbers that I put right in the beginning, right? That was a 2017 survey done in the United States. What is a good benchmark for engagement? Well, Instagram as a medium provides good organic reach if you do everything right, which is you play with the formats, you put out good content, etc. So, what is considered, there is no particular number, right? But if you had to benchmark it, Instagram says that an average of 37 likes per 1,000 followers is a good number. So, you can use this as a benchmark by multiplying it with your followers, right? So, just multiply 0.37 with your followers, and that will give you a good benchmark. Um, Someone asked, do you think the maximum hashtags that help to reach more people in the comment? Oh, you're asking me to tell you. Okay. Well, the more hashtags, the more your content will be in the discovery section, right? Use at least 30 hashtags with every post. That's a good way to kind of get yourself in uh, rank higher. Moving on to the next one. Oh, before I move on, when you're putting hashtags, don't make your hashtags, right? It's not about yellow plus blue, or it's not about too much chili in my food today. It's about putting the right hashtags, like a travel blogger or music around the globe. See what other people are writing. See the hashtags that other people are using. It's very simple. You go to your discovery tab on top in your search section and you type a hashtag and you know how many people are talking about it. If you don't know what hashtag to use, say for example, you just want to write something about yoga, you can just put the word yoga in your search bar right on top, and it will show you people, what people are talking about, and then you can pick a hashtag from there, right? So don't make your own weird hashtags unless you want to start a movement. Please do it. We're always in for some fun content. Someone asked, when is a good time to put up a post so that we can get good engagement? Well, all time is good time, yeah. And why I say that is, if I was to give you the best time, yeah, it will say 9 to 5, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. is the time when posts have the best reach. But that kind of varies now, right? Brand to brand. You have to understand after putting up every post, what is the kind of engagement you're getting. Sometimes you get the best engagement at 9 a.m., sometimes you get the best engagement at 10 p.m., right? You also want to see the interests of people and then target them accordingly. You also want to see, say, for example, your audience is 25 plus, and this is the kind of audience that only gets free from their jobs after 8 p.m. in the evening, and your content is giving them a sigh of relief after very tough days, then you are going to have to optimize your time like that. So I don't know what brand specifically or for what person are you looking for the best time for engagement. If I don't know that, then I will leave you with the fact that you post from any time between 9 to 5, you are bound to get good engagement. Okay. Someone asked, what kind of strategic change do you recommend every time Facebook changes algorithm for organic reach? Well, there's not one strategy you can kind of take and move ahead, right? And algorithms are going to change every day. We are living in a world where everything needs to be monetized. You and I both understand that. So the algorithms will keep changing, organic reach will keep coming down, right? 0.37 organic reach is not very great. But what you can do is, yes, paid promotions is important, and you will always do that, right? It's like it's a boosting medium. It's like how you shock your body with weird diets, and then your body starts reacting differently. You are always going to have to do your paid promotions for your accounts. But apart from that, what you can do is every time you're targeting, change your targeting, right? Somebody who's 25 and somebody who's 45 might still have the same liking and still speak the same language, right? They might still have the same travel aspirations. Narrow down your targeting, right? Don't target 25 to 45 and leave it so large at all points in time. See who's reacting to you more, and then keep your posts and your content targeted to these narrow audiences, relevant with whatever pieces that you're putting out there, right? Now, you also have to encourage either your employees or friends to be advocates, right? So you get your friends to talk about your brand, you get your friends to understand the value that your brand is bringing. You ask your friends to put out what it is that you are achieving. You can do this with influencers as well, right? But a common voice or a thread that goes out not only from just your account but other accounts as well, it helps. What else can you do? Well, every platform is unique, right? So if you're putting a post on Instagram, and you're putting something on Twitter, don't just copy paste it on Facebook, correct? Try and speak the language that your Facebook audience is speaking, where your analytics is very important, which we'll come to in session 4. But analyze the content that you've already put out. You already have a treasure chest of understanding in that analysis of what people are reacting to best, and then you can optimize that content to make it better for Facebook. While this is an Instagram lecture, I have answered your Facebook question, and if you have more questions, please drop them in the chat, or you can reach out to the ADMC email ID and we'll get back to you. That's absolutely no problem. There's someone who asked, do you think real images work than designing the designs? Well, you have to design every design, um, and you have to design your images as well. If you're just going to click something and put it up, it doesn't make sense, right? It has to look good. Do images work? Of course, images work. Well shot images, simplistic backgrounds work. You're going to cut a mango and put it in a glass bowl and maybe sprinkle some sugar around it, and click a picture and then edit it on Snapseed and put it up on your profile. It's going to work really, really well, right? You have to choose. You have to choose what you want to say. Is your picture going to speak louder than a design that you're creating? Right? Then you kind of choose to put a picture out there. Now, for example, I have a profile up here of Gary Vee, right? He has a wine company, he has a content company. If you see his feed, he doesn't only have videos and images, but he also has illustrations, which I think that you're referring to by your designs. So it doesn't matter which one you're putting, as long as it's relevant, as long as it's going to speak the loudest, it's going to bring you the right reach, correct? Someone asked, how about digital marketing is as a job opportunity? Someone who's been working in this industry for 10 years, um, my days are up and down every day. But one thing I can promise you is that not one day is going to be boring for you. So if you're looking at it as a job opportunity, please stay in touch with ADMC. And yes, it is very, very beautiful, the entire journey. How important or effective it is, how important or effective is Instagram for B2B business? It's as effective for B2C brands as well. So if you're talking about a business and you want people to come and invest in your business to help their businesses, it's the same thing. You just have to reach out to a relevant audience. Now it depends, right? The Instagram audience is young. So are you a business that is looking for startups to come and join with you? Then yes, this is the most relevant platform for you to be present on. So I'm going to quickly move to the difference between business accounts and personal accounts. And then we can kind of move to understand the target audience, right? See, business accounts will speak the language that a business or a brand wants to, depends on the proposition that it has. But there is a very fine line or a thin line of difference. Now, on a business account, you will have access to tools like promoting yourself, and on a personal account you may not have that. Hence you will always choose a business over personal. In fact, these days everybody who starts a personal account is also, people just say, why don't you just make it business? You never know when you want to start promoting a product at home, which is why people just start business accounts. Apart from that, what is most important to understand about the target audience on Instagram is that yes, it is very young. Okay, now I've already told you that the audience is 18 to 34. So I'm just going to quickly move to tell you what is currently going on, what is the usage of this medium, and why it's beautiful, right? Um, Instagram users spend an average of 53 minutes online per day, right? You have 500 Instagram accounts, you have 53 minutes to engage with an audience, right? Law of averages says 2 out of 10 people will come and speak to you, right? So if imagine how many people are going to come and speak to you out of the 500 million. All you have to do is grab their attention in the 53 minutes that they are currently spending on Instagram every day, right? Love is the most used hashtag currently. Yes, because everybody's sitting at home, there is a new trend about kindness, about love, about wanting to spend time together, about removing hate. Everybody is coming together, etc. Now, photos generate 36% more likes than video content. Believe it or not, this is true. We all say videos are doing really well, and yes, they are. But there are a lot of photos that people love too. If your images are larger than life, people are going to like it, right? So yes, there is more engagement with photos currently in the current scenario because everybody is sitting at home and everybody is engaging with images. So this is the time for you to kind of get out there, put beautiful images. There is absolutely nothing stopping you, be it a brand or a person. Now, after Instagram itself, there is Cristiano Ronaldo, who has the most followers. All of those football fans, put your hands up. And then there is Ariana Grande and Selena Gomez, right? So music is a huge trend on Instagram right now. So use it to your benefit. Budweiser uses it to its benefit by creating its own property, keeping itself relevant with music, and hence it creates a wider pool for itself, right? Use your hashtags. It's very important. The hashtag love is doing well. You can put the hashtag love in the content that you're trying to put out there and try to be relevant with that as well. Moving on to what is relevant if you have a business account for Instagram, right? And in the current scenario, there are about 25 million business profiles on Instagram. That is a lot for you to wanting to sell your product, for you to wanting to partner with companies, for you to wanting to just be out there, to put your voice out there for when the market opens and when people start engaging with you, right? Now, engagement with brands on Instagram is 10% higher than any other social platform right now. So if you are a business and you are thinking of just wanting to be on Instagram, this is your answer. You should be there. and then basis the posts that you're putting, basis the people that are responding to you, you can diversify your strategy and grow, which we will come to in the future plans as in the future classes as well. Right now, does any one of you know how many advertisers are there worldwide that are using Instagram? I'm sure you don't know this number, but if you had to take a wild guess, there are about 2 million advertisers worldwide that are currently using Instagram, and it is crazy, right? Whether you're a startup, whether you're baking cakes at home, whether you have just got started a new product, it could be as simple as a product that is a shell for a sanitizer. So it could be a non-touch sanitizer mechanism. You can just start selling it at home. There are a lot of people who started selling jewelry from home. There are a lot of people who started selling t-shirts and shoes from home because all they are doing is staying at home and painting. And they started selling this. So it's a huge opportunity. And if you realize the opportunity and you put your brand out there, you will automatically start understanding how many people respond to you, and then kind of optimize the content that you're putting out. Now, 500 million people on Instagram, correct? There are 83% users that are discovering new products and services on Instagram every day. 83% is a huge number. So you already have an opportunity to be discovered. Now, all you have to do is create that content and get on there, and people will start discovering you. So, in the coming sessions, we will teach you what is the best way to create content, how to create content, and how to put it out there quickly. While we've given you so many facts, and I understand that it can be an overload, we will come back and touch these facts again and again so that they stick in everybody's brains by the time you are done with Prerna and me, right? There is higher engagement on Instagram, without a doubt. Why? Because it is an ease of use of the platform. The discoverability is huge, and there is a young audience. And to maintain that higher engagement, you have to make sure that you keep shocking your accounts with ads. Okay. You keep your content mobile friendly because people are scrolling on their mobile all day while cooking or while sitting on the pot in the morning. It is true. People start their days by scrolling on Instagram, right? And by using all of the functionalities that Instagram kind of provides to you. Now, without boring you any further, and most of you are looking to understand what brands are doing, how engagement can be better, we've put together a few examples for you, right? This is Nike, and I think that my presentation is a little off its aesthetic, and I'm really sorry, but focus on the example that is there, right? This is a piece of content that he put up after everybody went into lockdown, right? It reads, if you ever dreamed of playing for millions around the world, now is your chance. Play inside, play for the world. It's nothing. It's a play of words, right? Somebody who was asking about whether images do better or design does better. In this, it's neither. It's just about simple copy that's gone up in an image that is so relevant to people and the importance of people having to sit at home that this piece of content resonates with everybody, right? Now, Nike has a lot of followers, right? And their feed is a mixture of campaign images, inspirational athlete stories. You have to make your account human. Just talking about your brand or your campaign is not going to be enough. You have to talk about their life stories, which resonates with people and helps you build a brand community, like we discussed right in the beginning, right? Then there is Dove. Dove spoke about how courage is beautiful, how people who are going out there, the frontline healthcare workers, are also beautiful, who are wearing masks all day and who have lines on their face at the end of the day. And while Dove does its donations and attaches itself to NGOs, it's always known for putting people out there with their faces and telling you you're beautiful. And it's just not your skin that makes you beautiful, but it's your soul that makes you beautiful, right? Again, this is relevant content. It's about while Dove will always be there at the back of your head, right? It'll always say be a soap or a shampoo in your mind. But how does the brand connect with you on a humane level? By connecting with you at this time, becoming more relevant, connecting beautiful to what people are actually going through, and hence developing a sense of loyalism towards the brand, right? So keep putting content out there, keep making relevant content, and never stop. There's another example that Dove did, right, about people coming together and finding friendships on social media. I will leave Dove as an example for you to go and do homework at the end of this session. Just scroll through their timeline, and I'm telling you, you will be inspired. Starbucks. Starbucks is another very, very relevant account, right? Now, Starbucks suffered the most. In fact, people are sitting at home, they're talking about wanting a latte or wanting their iced cappuccino from Starbucks, but they can't have it, right? And Starbucks uses witty captions, and they're known for that. Starbucks always makes stories with its employees as well. So it does everything. It gets its employees to talk about the brand. Its witty captions kind of come in trends as well. So the brand on its own brings up a brand saliency and builds a brand voice for itself, right? And as soon as delivery was allowed, there are people who've been sent back to the kitchen so that they can deliver the favorite coffees of people to their homes, right? Now, while we spoke about brands and people, there are a lot of other ways where you can develop a brand. There is Netflix. Netflix has its own page. Netflix makes original content and it gets all of the best movies and shows to you. But what else does Netflix does? Netflix is a joke. This is an account, a parallel account. I would call it a parody account, right? And it makes memes out of the shows that it puts up. It makes fun of its own content. It makes fun of the stars in the shows that are already there. So this account helps you love Netflix more. It mocks itself. But at the end of the day, what you're going to remember is Netflix mocked itself. That is so cool. Now, again, you're relevant to the target audience because it's young, correct? You are speaking to the mind of the people who have seen a show and may have thought the same thing, correct? Number three, you're putting content out there every day. Number four, you're giving people um, to look for something at the end of the day. So yes, accounts like this also help. There is more than one way to do this. This is moment marketing, this is trend tracking, this is just parallel content that people are loving and sharing every day, right? And this boy, I cannot stop talking about him, right? But I'm going to try and not talk about him so that you can go back after this session, right? Kobe reached to 1.3 million followers in no time. All his mother did was put a red apron on him, put a red chef cap on him, gave him utensils, and gave him ingredients to add in a bowl. And with his own antiques, he became famous. So don't forget that every and any piece of content is unique. If you have a voice, make that voice your brand proposition, right? This Kobe is an influencer, a brand, he's a person. So people are brands, brands are people. There's learning there, there's consistent posting of content, there is something that you can relate to every day, which is his laugh or a moment that you're looking for in a day to be stupid. And the one color that sticks with you is a baby in the red apron, right? So there's so much learning, and if you go and see his content, I promise you, you will sleep laughing today. So please do go and see his profile. And he's almost on every Indian news channel by now, FII. There are other content pieces like this also, right? Like conspiracy plots. This account talks about conspiracies that either politicians are doing, or people are doing, or certain murders that have happened and people have not been caught. This is also content that is relevant, right? And people are loving it. So don't stop. Don't tie yourselves down by this is my brand message and I have to say this. Sometimes you have to widen your horizons and say this is my brand message, but how do I add value to people in a certain state that the market is in? How do I add value to the people in a certain way that they are feeling, but can I elevate their feeling with my brand in a certain way? It doesn't have to mean by a physical product, it can just be by what you're saying, right? So the creation of content for this platform is limitless. and we will learn how to create relevant content and what culture to follow and how best to trend jack in the coming sessions. But I just wanted to leave you with a few examples. Do search for them, go through their feeds. I am telling you, you will laugh and you will have an inspired evening. The last thing that I want to talk about, and I promise I will not take more than 2 minutes, and then we'll move on to all of the other questions which I haven't seen yet. So hopefully I have answers for them, or Prerna will take all of them up. Um, is you have an Instagram marketing plan. How do you attach it with all of your other social mediums, right? There is you have to be relevant, yeah. You have to think about the reach, and you have to see how it kind of resonates with your audience, right? When it comes to being relevant, what are you talking about? Who are you talking to, right? For example, there is in Intrepid Travel World, it is a group of vegan influencers and they wanted to launch vegan tours, right? And what they did was target themselves or their content to only the relevant audience on Instagram, and now they are loving it, right? People who are vegan travelers follow them and talk to them, and their targeting was always very narrow. It was not about getting a million followers, it was about building a community who would speak their language and who would understand them, right? That is what relevance is. So if your audience is present on Instagram, you target only them. If your audience is present on Facebook, then you target only that particular target market. But it does not mean that you need to have a marketing plan only for one medium. Your targeting might change on every medium, and the way you write your posts might change, but you can still be relevant for every medium. Second is reach. Reach is the number of people you can potentially reach through either your follower base, through influencers talking about you, or through just putting your content out there and putting 30 hashtags and then leaving it to how discovery works that day, right? Um, you can optimize your reach, right? You will have to, and this comes with learning. This again comes with the understanding of what you're posting, who is resonating with it, right? And who is responding to you. And hence you will keep putting more content of that in that format or that language out there. And you will start optimizing your reach, right? Don't put the same kind of content. Don't say the same thing rather every day. But yes, in parts, if that piece of content has done really well, please say it in parts, and your reach automatically will improve because that is what people are coming back to you for. Resonance. Um, the potential level of engagement an influencer or a brand can create needs to be relevant. And once that is relevant, it will resonate with your audience, right? Um, Again, the vegan traveler example that I gave you, bigger is not always better, right? But if you talk your language that is unique to you, you speak your truth, you speak to what you believe in, automatically you will start attracting a group of people that talk your language, and they will speak to you within the same language. And that's how you resonate with an audience. You can also resonate with your audience when you're talking about a certain trend or a certain moment, right? What are the 5 things that are happening in this lockdown, right? A lot of brands can talk about it, and when you start talking about it and when you start talking about the struggles that everybody may be facing in their homes, you kind of resonate with them, right? So if you are relevant to each medium, right, and you create content that resonates with the people that you are talking to by narrow targeting, and you keep consistent content going out there, then you're going to create a wider reach, right? Um, so this is all I have for you today. This is just a starting session. We will come back in the next session and deep dive into how to create content, what is the best way of creating content, how can you optimize the best times of posting, etc. Now, there were a lot of other questions that I didn't get to. So let me get to those questions, right? How many times do users have to put up a post if they want to become an influencer? Well, don't stop posting at all. Is there a particular number I can give you? No. But on an average, Why not put 2 pieces of content up there every day, right? See how your people are responding to you. See what your people are responding to you, and then you can post more content like that, right? There are people who post 4 pieces of content as well, but their content is relevant. Don't go to a place where you are kind of overexposing yourself and talking so much that people get bored of you, right? Less is more in this case, but whatever less that you put out there needs to be relevant. Put something out there every day. You increase that number basis the engagement that you're getting, basis the number of people that are getting back to you. Remember the benchmark of 0.37, multiply that by the number of followers, and you will know how much to put out there, right? How would you research hashtags? What range of traffic for hashtags would you recommend? If the current following for a brand is less than 5K, above 5K to 25K, above 55K. Um, well, I I don't see a relevance in seeing a range of traffic for hashtags, right? It depends on what you want to follow. If you're speaking about travel, then you will search for hashtags with the word travel and see the the hashtag that's more relevant to you. Are you a travel blogger? Then you're going to search for hashtags like that. Are you looking to travel? Are you looking to travel after the lockdown opens? Then you're going to search for a hashtag like that, right? How would you research hashtags? You will take the genre of the content that you want to put out there, correct? And once you take the genre of the content that you want to put out there, you will search for it and you will automatically get a long list of things, right? Of course, you will not look for hashtags that only 5 or 6 people have participated in unless you are posting it as a trend and you are going to promote it and there are 15, 20 influencers that are going to talk about it. But you will pick the most relevant to your genre. How many hashtags should I use in my post? Please use 30. Don't feel shy. You have all 30, use them all. How can one increase, can beat Instagram's algorithm and increase visibility of feed posts? Well, we're all trying to do that. Now, is there one way to break visibility for feed posts? There isn't. But what you can do is there are a lot of questions you have to ask yourself, right? Are you posting content out there every day? Great. If you're doing that, is the quality and quantity of the post good? Is it unique? Is it different from everybody else? What is it that is bringing the difference? Maybe you want to focus on that and continue talking about that. Use the filters and the features that Instagram is giving. Have you done an Instagram live, and when was the last time that you did a live? Have you put a face to the brand that you want to break engagement on feed for? If you haven't, please put a face to it. Have you put a voice to it? Very important. Are you connecting with your audience? Are you connecting with your audience by talking to them about what the relevant issues are? Have you taken your genre and made it relevant in people's lives? If not, do it. Now, you have to be consistent as well. You cannot post 3 posts one day and disappear for 3 days and then suddenly come back one day, right? You're going to have to do something every day. Even if it is about making chai and dropping that chai on the gas, you're going to do it every day till you get it right, right? The problem could be about, I don't know how to make perfect chai, but I'm going to make a journey of how I can make this chai for the next 100 days until I get it perfect, right? And what it needs to have is your face. What it needs to have is the frustration that you're going through every day. What it needs to have is a quirk of how you're going to do it. And if you are consistent with things like that, people are going to follow you. It's a very bad example, but take the learning from it, that you have to give it a face, you have to give it a voice, you have to be relevant, and you have to post consistently and not disappear in the middle. Don't forget about hashtags, right? Keep putting hashtags. And if the hashtags have become boring, or you're posting the same kind of hashtags every day, look for new hashtags. Maybe you want to go out of your genre to see what other people's interests are, and you might connect with people who have your interests as well. Reach out to influencers, do partnerships, get into other people's kitchens. Jay Shetty's wife usually ties up with her best friend who's also an influencer, and they cook in the same kitchen, right? It works for both of them. Do that. Make content with your friends, make content with your mothers, your fathers, everybody. Right now, if you're sitting at home, it's relevant. Just do it. You have to determine what is successful, right? If there are 10 pieces of content that have worked for you in the past, maybe you want to make them larger than life and make a property out of it. So, coming back to how to increase visibility of feed posts, you can do that by keeping it relevant. You can do that by adding filters. You can do that by adding a voice. You can do that by adding a face. You can do that by creating relevant content for the time we are in. If that does not answer your question and you need a little more help, please email us or reach out to me after the session and we will deep dive into it. How do we get a blue tick? You can write to Instagram. There is a support email ID that you can write to. We can probably reply to you and tell you what that email ID is as well. Now, Instagram provides a price tag option to purchase the particular product, right? So, what is the engagement rate of it? How many people end up buying that product? Um, do you have any number or stats for it? Well, price tag helps users to check the price, right? Whenever brand puts up a product photo, me being me, I definitely want to know what the price for it is before I deep dive and fall in love with it. If I want a skirt, or if I want a piece of jewelry, or if I want to buy it for my mom or dad, right? But whenever a user clicks on that price tag, he's taken to the website to purchase it, right? So you can check how many people used it, go to the website and purchase everything that happens uh, on the brand website, and the content will the content will start following you with the trending hashtags. So, for example, cooking is one thing that people do when they have time. And before lockdown, cooking your favorite food happened only on the weekends, but now everybody is doing it every day, right? Um, this is the kind of content that is currently booming. I think I've mixed both your questions and answered. So, to answer, can people buy a product once the price tag has been put on it? Yes. Do I have numbers or stats for it? Unfortunately, I cannot give you one number for it. This is an evolving feature, and we ourselves are looking for a benchmark. In terms of content that is booming right now, there are comic strips, there is quick fixes for food. Everybody is looking at it, and there are also tutorials for food. Like the example that I gave you, people don't even know how to boil an egg. So anything that you do around that, people will like. The other piece of content that is currently rising is how to cope with living at home and how to cope with this lockdown, because people don't know what to do with themselves apart from going from one bedroom to the other. So yes, you could probably transact that also. And if you need any more relevant content for a particular brand, just drop a question, um, and we will kind of get back to you. Have I missed any other questions, Prerna?
I think there's a question here from Karan. Can Instagram be used for generic products like loose diamonds, or would it be too difficult to keep coming up with new content? Um, Karan, you can actually use Instagram for loose diamonds, and it does not get boring at all. If you happen to see this account called Gemfluencer on Instagram, he specializes in gemstones, and the most effective and creative way he does is he always has colorful shoes, and he matches the gemstone to his shoe color, and every day he has a new gemstone. So that's so interesting, and it's amazing the way he does it. So I think you must look up his account, but there is a lot of stuff that you can do with loose diamonds. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to connect with us and we'll help you. uh, I think there's another one from Gaurav: how to make entertaining live sessions on business account. So Gaurav, in fact, I'm not sure if you've had a chance to look at the live sessions that I've done in this entire period of lockdown. So there has been a whole range of different sorts of live that I have done, right from having a music artist playing on an Instagram live, to doing a cocktail evening, to talking about jewelry, talking about gemstones, diamond prices. So there is a whole range of Instagram live sessions that you can do, and uh, it depends on the kind of account you hold. what kind of audience you have and what will they like, but you have to always try to understand if they like it or not. Paridhi, you want to add anything to that?
Well, you got to keep it entertaining, right? There are a lot of live sessions that people are doing in the kitchens. There are a lot of live sessions people are doing from bathrooms. There are a lot of live sessions that people do with each other, ask questions and answer. So, say for example, if you're doing it for a particular business, small scale, large scale, maybe you want to get someone who's an expertise in that area to answer people's questions live. It always helps. The more engaging, the better, right? As long as people get to take a certain value out of it. But it's a medium that you can play with, and if you do something entertaining, then please tell us. um, there's one more question that's asking, you have to depend on digital agencies in order to make designer posts and ads, videos making. Well, it depends on scale, right? The larger the scale, then you want to get an agency on board. Does it stop you from creating content? No, it doesn't. There are ways in which you can make quick content. While perfect content is very important for larger campaigns, social media is about imperfect content that makes a perfect brand after a particular period of time. So we will teach you how to make content. We will teach you how to use tools for Instagram in specific in the further sessions that come, right? So please um, come to those sessions and you will learn, and you will then understand how to build yourself first. And then when you want to reach out to a larger agency, when you develop a scale, you can do that as well, right? Are there any more questions left?
There's one from Path, which he's asking, rendered videos of jewelry create a difference? Parth, it depends on the kind of jewelry you are posting, but there are a lot of people who do post rendered videos. In fact, renders videos make really great quality images and videos. So you can either put a product or a video, and in fact, you can also talk about the journey of how that jewelry was made. So, say for example, you have a pendant that is made and you don't know what content to create for it apart from just the rendering of that piece. Then you can talk about the inspiration. You can talk about the diamonds or gemstones used in it, different kinds of the collection it is from. So there are a lot of things that you can work around it, and then talk about the final product as a rendered image or video. I hope that answers your question. Yeah. So yeah. Anything else that is left? Hitesh is asking, do we need to register anywhere before selling on Instagram? Paradhi, are you taking that?
No, you don't need to register anywhere. You can start selling on Instagram. Yes, Instagram will review your product, but once you have a business account, you can start promoting yourself, and it's always best to link it to a website where the product can be bought.
The other way you can, Hitesh, also do it is once if you connect it to your Facebook page, to your business ads manager, with that you will be able to connect it to Instagram and have the shop feature and the price being shown on it. So that's another way to connect to it, but you do not have to like register anywhere. I think uh, we've answered everybody's questions. I don't see any more.
So, thank you guys. I think those are the questions. If we've missed any, you can email right to us. The school will also send it to you a feedback form. Please fill it for everything that you want to learn in the coming days. Is there anything specific you want us to focus on? While there are a lot of intelligent questions that came, I think that we will deep dive into the creation of content in the next session itself. So, if there is anything in specific that you're looking for, if there is anything that you want us to focus on, we can do that. So, thank you for being here. I hope you all enjoyed this session. And if there are any questions that are left to be answered, just write to ADMC. The email ID is projecting right now under the screen, which is just so cool, right? Cool. cool features. Use them. And we will see you on Wednesday from 7 to 9 with our voices and faces. So thank
Thank
you.
you, guys. Thank you, guys. Have a fantastic evening and stay home and stay safe. Don't go out.
Great insights that you have shared. To all the participants, thank you for staying put and investing your evenings with us. We will connect back with you for further details. If you have any questions, please drop your questions to mail at theadmc.com, and we'll also share it with you for your ready reference. Thank you so much.